So Star Wars Hunters has been here for almost 6 weeks now, and although I'm absolutely in love with this game so far, I do think there are a few elements that need a little bit of tweaking and changing in order to take the game to that next level. And so today, I'm going to run you guys through 5 changes I would love to see in Star Wars Hunters. Now, the first one is a very crucial element in my opinion, especially when it comes to the ranked mode, and this is the addition of a ping system that would essentially allow players to communicate in order to obviously try and win more games and move further up those ranks. Now, especially when it comes to a game like this where it's a Switch game but also a mobile game, and therefore there is no in-game voice chat system or anything like that, I think a system like this is absolutely crucial, because without it there is essentially no way for players to communicate, meaning we are kind of just left guessing as to what our teammates are going to do, and it's really hard to sort of play as an actual team unless you just kind of get lucky in those matches where sometimes you'll just have a bit of synergy with random teammates and it's like you all kind of know roughly what each other's doing, but those games are definitely few and far between. So adding in a ping system that allows us to, for example, in power control, ping different objectives that we can say, hey, I'm going to this one, and then all of your teammates will know where we should be attacking. Even being able to say, for example, I need help or something like that through an in-game ping system, that would be such a massive change that would really allow players to actually start working together a little bit easier. Now, obviously, if you really want to take the game seriously and you play on a Switch, or to be honest, you can even do this on a phone as well, you can of course join like a Discord call and you can communicate with friends that way. So it's not like this is impossible, but that kind of adds to what I'm saying in that me, for example, I could squad up with a bunch of YouTuber buddies and we could all be in a Discord call absolutely sweating our dicks off, and the other team has no way to actually communicate. So that's kind of an unfair advantage that we are using Discord when there's no way for those players to do that in game, meaning it's almost certain we're going to win that match simply because we're all communicating with each other. So that's something I would love to see, and like I said, I think that is honestly something that they should be focusing on as one of the most crucial additions to the game. I think for casual play it's completely fine, but when it comes to ranked and especially trying to get to the higher ranks, communication with your teammates is absolutely crucial. Now, the next change I would love to see in Star Wars Hunters is actually choosable game modes. Now, obviously, as it is right now, there is essentially the option to choose either casual, ranked, or at times there is also the limited time mode, so stuff like matchup clash and stuff like that, and those are the only options we have when it comes to choosing games. Now, because it's a mobile game, I'm not sure they will ever do this, but I would love the option to actually be able to choose the mode that I'm matchmaking into. So for example, if I just only wanted to play power control, it'd be great to be able to even just set a filter. So you can set a filter, for example, on the casual mode where you still just click casual to search, but you've set a filter where it's only going to find you power control lobbies, which would just allow us a little bit more customization in terms of what we play, because yeah, a lot of people, for example, might not like squad brawl or trophy case and don't really want to play those, but as it is right now, you can't really avoid them. You just have to search and hope that it isn't one of those modes. So that's another thing I would love to see them add. Now, like I said, I don't think that they necessarily will, and it would also impact the matchmaking a little bit too, in that it would take longer to actually find matches for anyone who is setting those filters. So there are of course downsides to this, but I think over time the player base for this game is going to be big enough. It already seems big enough. It's got multiple million downloads across each platform, and I think that's only going to rise even further. So the matchmaking side of it shouldn't be too much of an issue, but again, I'm not too sure they will add this, just seeing as it is a mobile game. A lot of games like that, they do kind of simplify this type of stuff so that people can just quickly jump into a game and make it all a little bit less confusing. Now, just quickly guys, as you can see, the latest merch drop is now live. I've got the Star Wars Hunters inspired Sammy Squad logo. I've changed the Aurebesh from the original Star Wars Hunters logo, and like I said, that is now live. If you head to the link in the description, you can get that in not only hoodies but also t-shirts and coffee mugs as well. So if you guys are interested, be sure to go and check those out. But with that being said, let's get stuck back into the video. Now, the next change I would love to see is probably a little bit more basic, but this is adding more space in the friends list, because how it currently is, I think the maximum is 100 friends, and once you hit that 100 friend limit, you cannot add anyone else unless you start deleting other friends, which I don't think anyone really wants to do that. Now, obviously, this early on in the game, that's not too much of an issue for most people, because obviously the game's new. You guys maybe haven't made that many new friends through the game, but if this game is to be supported for 5 or so years, then I can almost guarantee that in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years from now, you guys will have a full friends list, and if someone else adds you, you're going to have to go through and start deleting people, which, like I said, I don't think anyone really wants to do that, having to pick and choose which friends you keep so that you can add new players. That's just not a fun experience. So upping that friends list would be definitely very helpful. I'm not too sure if they need to have a limit on it for specific technical reasons or something like that. So obviously in a perfect world, just having no limit would be the best way to do it. But if they do have to have a limit, I think more than 100 would definitely be very nice to have, because like I said, I think a lot of people are going to get there probably quicker than they actually expect to. Now, something else I would love to see changed is the fact that when you search for games currently, it just has the matchmaking splash screen that pops up on your screen. And when you're in that, you can't do anything until it finds a lobby. Now, in most other shooters, for example, usually you can search for a game and then it will pop up with that splash screen, but then you can sort of go back and navigate through the menus while the game is still searching to put you into a lobby. So I'd love if they could do something like that with Star Wars Hunters. Sometimes it is pretty boring just having to sit there, and if it takes like a minute to find a lobby, I'm just sitting there for a minute straight just watching this counter go up, and in the meantime I could be going through and changing skins or looking at the challenges that I need to get done. It is a very small change, it doesn't ruin the game by any means, but it is one of those quality of life changes that just makes the game feel a little bit more complete. So hopefully they can add that in the future, but again, being a mobile game, there is probably a lot of technical limitations that they can't really push through, and so hopefully that isn't the case with this one. Now, last but not least, something I would love to see changed is to do with the challenges in this game, and I would love to see a lot less challenges that are essentially up to chance, because how it currently is, there are often a few challenges, not so much in the weekly challenges as in for the arena pass, but for events and stuff like that, there's often challenges that are essentially just completely up to chance. For example, in the Cost of Honor event that has currently just been going on, all of those challenges were in matchup clash, which means you can't choose your hunter, and yet the challenges were like get X amount of kills with Arental or Amara Vex. And although that sounds fine on paper, if you load into a game 100 times in a row and you just don't happen to get Arental, then you just simply aren't going to get those challenges done, and that's by no fault of your own. It's just completely random chance that you didn't happen to get that hunter. So those sorts of challenges to me are really, really annoying. Sometimes you get them done straight away. You might load into 2 games as Arental and he gets picked for you straight away and you get those challenges done instantly, but then the next guy might literally play 100 games and just never ever get Arental. So less challenges like that and more challenges that are based on actual skill, or just even just playtime that's, you know, not down to chance, but it just takes a bit longer to get. That's completely fine as well. But any that are completely up to chance, I'm not really the biggest fan of those being in the game. But that's it for 5 changes that I would love to see come to Star Wars Hunters. I'm keen to hear what you guys think as well, so be sure to leave your own down in the comment section. I'm sure there is plenty of good stuff you guys can come up with as well, so I'm keen to read all of your thoughts. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.